Okay, got that working. Looks like it's a really nice day today, nice and overcast, so it's a perfect day to do this. So we don't get too many days like this, so I try and take advantage of them. So anyway, here goes. So wanted to talk about a few more things about my brother Sam, and one of the things about it's like about 6 months. It's like and just occurred to me. It's like about 6 months before he passed away. He was uh, he was going through a divorce, and around the same time, I had broken up with my boyfriend, Ken Tenike. So we started doing things together. It was just kind of like a weird coincidence. I'm kind of glad we had those months together where we could do things. We went to, I know I mentioned this before, went to concerts and so on, and his fish club stuff, and just like outings and stuff. We went here and there and everywhere. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then let's see let's see. He used to crack jokes about his camera lenses because he was into photography. One of the other things he was into was photography. So he used to have these big lenses and stuff, and he used to make these sick jokes about his about his camera lenses. There were a few problems he had. I know he had, like me, he kind of had neck problems, stiff neck problems and stuff. He also had a kidney problem. I don't think it was major. I think it was kind of a minor thing. He had he also had a depth perception problem, because I think what it was is like when he was driving, he would see things that were they appeared to be closer than they were, because I remember wasn't a huge issue driving or anything, but it's like instead of making a left turn, he'd keep waiting. It was better to think it was farther away, and that to think it that way, that it was it's like it was farther away, or closer, actually closer, so that it's less likely to get into an accident. So that was, in a way, it wasn't a huge problem. We also he used to always go barefoot, and so did I. It's like not all the time, but here and there we would go barefoot. It's like it's like, hey, do we want to wear shoes? And this was a common thing. It was still kind of the hippie type days, the end of the hippie days. And so sometimes it's like, do we want to wear shoes? Nah, it's like, let's go barefoot. Which nobody does anymore. Unless you're at the beach or something. But we would actually leave and go someplace. And I remember him driving in his car barefoot. So that's kind of a funny thing. He also he was basically considered a draft dodger. He did not want to go to Vietnam. I don't blame him. He really, and I talked to his wife Kathy not too long ago about this. It was a huge ordeal, much bigger ordeal than I thought. Him trying to get out of the draft to getting stuck going to Vietnam, and he had to apparently, in the end, I think it put stress on the marriage too. But he finally got out. He was able to get out of it, and and at some point, the war was over with too. So, but he, I know it's like she said that he had to take some kind of do some kind of community service or something. So he did some kind of community service in lieu of going there. So it's like, and his excuse, and what he was using was he was what's called a conscientious objector, which is what he was like near the end of being a Jehovah's Witness. It's like he was in it but not totally into it, and it's like eventually he did leave. But they did not allow, they did not want anybody going to. It's one of the good things about the religion, was that they didn't want anybody going to war, so that was a good thing. Um, uh, we took a trip to Washington State one time. The whole family did, and I think I think he had a couple of some friends that went too, and because I remember like we were at the Mount Rainier. I almost couldn't remember the name there. Mount Rainier, and I went up to the ice caves at Mount Rainier. And it's like I tagged along with him, and I had a hard time keeping up with him, but I was doing, I was like, I wanted to go with the guys, because it was him and a couple other guys his age that went up to, took the hike up to the ice caves. So we kept going and going, and I kept up with him, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get to those ice caves, So, um, but and we finally got there, and it was worth it. It was interesting going into the caves. We didn't go deep into the caves because it was too dark. But I remember it was probably the only time he actually held my hand. It's like, because it's like he actually kind of let me go first, but he hung on to my hand, because it's like if it's like one of us slips, it's better, almost better, or something trips or something happens. It's better that it would be me because I couldn't pull him out. So he was too big. But we were very careful. He certainly didn't want anything to happen to me. But that was kind of interesting, and then we hiked all the way back down. But it was beautiful. I remember there being a lot of flowers and everything. It was obviously we would have gone during the summer, but yeah, the ice caves were still ice. I guess year round. So that was an interesting experience. And then let's see. I think I'm going to end it at that, and I'll continue some more stories about him later. Come on.